Zaz, I don't totally remember the details on how it is that 790 stopped the local hour. It was.
I got screwed.
You got screwed when we stopped the local hour?
I don't remember what the scenario was, but remember I had an hour taken away from my show.
Well, that's when we got the local hour.
Okay.
Which part are you not understanding? It's the difference between losing the local hour when we had it. You just hear local hour.
This isn't about you. This is about our pain.
How dare you?
But he made it immediately about him, and it's not even about pain at all. Just I remember it was just weeks after ESPN had been trying to get me out of doing that for some reason. I don't even know why. Maybe just because I got worse as the day got longer, and they didn't want me giving the best hour to Miami when they wanted our best hours. But we had the group, the shipping container was doing the local hour for a period of time there, and they went out to Dolphin Camp, and they did the show from Dolphin Camp and stuff. But I could not have foreseen from there that Mike Ryan, if you'd told me right then, Mike Ryan is going to be the guy who shows up at spring practices and just mills about watching the team practice. I would not have guessed from there that Mike, in his free time, not working, he doesn't have a lot of free time, would be the guy that would just go to practice to see, to get extra information on whether he thinks the receiver room is going to be better than it was last year.
And he does he walk around just milling about like a big mocker? Is that what's going on there?
On Saturday, your boy was on the field trailing the plays. Yeah, behind the 20 yards back, watching line play.
What did you call him? A big what?
Big macher. It's Yiddish. It means like he's a BMOC, you know.
Well, that sounds like he had some VIP access, or were you just part of? How many fans are out there now? Is there? It's certainly
on Saturday. It was actually really cool to see because Mario had the entire youth system of the Tri-County area in there to watch practice because recruiting starts at a very young age now. And dude, it was the coolest thing to watch Malachi Tony just strolling in front of these kids and to watch these kids just think he was the most famous person on the planet, and to watch him be respectful of everybody. We got that kind of juice now. We got a superstar like that to these kids.
Mario was at UFC on Saturday night. They showed him on the pay-per-view and everything.
He got a huge pop. I'm sure if you're listening to this right now, you guys are wondering, this is all a setup to talk about Ruben Bane, and it is.
Basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots. A dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
Is everyone a little slow today? I'm surprised that Tony didn't eviscerate Zaz for his first words of the work week to be hearing the opposite of what I'd asked him, the direct opposite, not listening at all and making the shadow show entirely about him when I was trying to get to Ruben Bane.
Yeah, I'm choosing to be kinder this week, right? Me and Zaz were at the UFC over the weekend. We had an incredible time, met his son. We had a bunch of good conversations. And one of them, I picked up something that Zaz said to me while he's eating a pizza where me and Lewis were sitting. And he said, man, I really messed up this week, huh? And that registered in my brain. I'm like, ooh, I think Zaz feels bad in a way that I don't. So I'm going to be nicer to Zaz this week.
I couldn't let it go, Dan. It stuck with me. It was stuck in my craw.
I was like, what happened? Oh, yeah, you asked a stupid question.
That's right.
But so you started this week by answering the opposite of the question I was asking.
Well, no,
you?
what happened there was...
I asked you, do you remember when we lost the local hour? And your answer was when we got the local hour.
Well, no, what happened there was you were bringing up something from the OG days, from $7.90 the ticket, and that always... I get excited when you're about to start talking about $7.90 tickets. So I'm sorry, I overstepped. I got excited. I like talking about the old days.
Okay, but let's talk about it while also listening.
Yeah.
And not making it about you. But
about me is good.
But speaking of the OG days, though, I didn't think that I would get a chance. I don't remember. Mike, do you remember? Maybe Roy remembers. How did Give Me Back My Son become something that we were playing around here all the time? I do remember loving the movie Ransom.
Oh, what a movie.
But it's a 90s movie. It feels like, or is it a 2000s movie? And we were obsessed for a while with the way Mel Gibson shouted in that movie, Give Me Back My Son. And I just didn't think we'd get a chance to revisit the library of sound that we have around Give Me Back My Son. But I also don't remember where this whole story started.
It started because we were taking fakes, and we had a phone caller call us fake Mel Gibson in the movie Ransom, said, awesome. Give me back my son. We all laughed, and then we added that sound to the Suey montage.
That's awesome.
We had Randy Moeller during the Panthers days before it is that they were winning Stanley Cups, when you can get away with doing these things with the local franchise. We had Randy Moeller shouted after a goal.
Booth walks up the boards, dumps it back in behind the net to Zednik. Zednik's there. Double team. Comes right to Nathan Horton. He fires. He shoots. He scores! Nathan Horton! Give me back my son! Panthers with a 3-0 lead. Oh, pinch me, Billy.
Nostalgia in that sound. Richard Zednik almost died on the ice. Yeah. And I think David Booth is still playing hockey, but in Australia, and he's like Wayne Gretzky over there.
Remember what they called that Horton Booth Weiss line?
No.
Sawgrass Express.
Oh, really? Do you remember the CPR line with Ville Peltonen?
Yes, of course.
Oh, you guys are going to be hurting in April and May this year. You two are going to be hurting. You can geek out on
What do I do
hockey
with all this free time?
You can watch the NBA playoffs. You can.
Boy, are they going to be good.
The entire weight of the league rests on Wemby and Jokic's shoulders for that Spurs-Nugget series.
Which one are you excited about, Tony? Because we really do. Look, I don't know how you guys feel about basketball in general right now, but you say you like it, but the narrative in the entire season, and this I've got to think this is something that doesn't have precedent in major American sports. The narrative the entire season is some form of these guys are not trying, they don't care. These teams are not trying, they don't care. I've just never seen a sports league endure that as the narrative for the year, so that yesterday on the last day of the season, $2.5 billion in salary is sitting. Almost 200 players sit yesterday on the last day of the season as they get you ready for these playoffs. But at the top of the first round, LeBron's got to go in the Wayback Machine. He's got to get them out of a first-round series playing that Cavs ball where it's just like he's not that good in the half court. He's not the same player in the half court. He's great in transition. But in half court, he can't be the same player. And so now it's going to be, can he hit Kennard 8 times a game on passes? Because they're going to be playing something similar to that Cavs style of basketball when he had to take 35 shots a game.
Yeah, and he's not built for that. But damn, I'm looking up and down. This might be the greatest Western Conference playoffs that we've ever seen because of all the storylines, because of all the players that are in it, right? You've got KD versus LeBron in the 4-5 matchup. No Luka, no Austin Reeves. They may come in later on if the series gets extended. But those two are the biggest names, and they're playing each other for the 4 and 5 seed. The Thunder could play the Clippers, could play the Warriors. We've got Nuggets and Timberwolves. The Nuggets tanked the last 2 games and then ended up winning. They didn't want to see the Timberwolves. They wanted to be in the 4-5 matchup. So there's so many things happening in this Western Conference playoffs that it's like this might be the best one we've ever seen.
Can I tell you something that I can't get past? And I don't know, maybe it's not a big deal because we're talking about the number 1 seed and like they're supposed to be the best team. So Detroit, Oklahoma City, but every other team is they know their playoff matchup 4 or 5 days in advance. They could practice, they could study, film, all of that. The Thunder and the Pistons, the best teams in their respective conferences, don't find out their opponent until Friday before they play on Sunday. That doesn't seem very fair.
I'm going to put a pin in that because you'll remember we started with "Give Me Back My Son," and I want to get back to it. But put a pin in it. Good
start though. Good start to the combo.
I will allow a fun basketball conversation, but I don't want to lose the opportunity to go into the Wayback Machine and also perhaps to explain to the audience that didn't go way back with us why I'm talking about "Give Me Back My Son" off of the top because I still haven't said it. Also, Frank Caliendo, as I recall, Roy, had an assortment of "Give Me Back My Sons." I don't remember which characters he was doing them in, but do we have the sound of Frank Caliendo doing an assortment of characters? Go ahead and play that for me.
Give me back my son! I think it's time to give me back my son, man.
I'd like to hear Jim Rome say it.
Give me back my son.
John Madden?
Give me back my son. Boom.
Yeah, a little boom in there, really punchy.
Not the way you were thinking I was going to do it,
No,
was it?
not the way I thought. It sounded like
I like to go different ways. Give me back my son. Boom. You know what you're going to do? Give me back my son. Give me. My son, go on. Give me back. Thanks, Mayor.
How about Pacino?
Give me back my son.
How is African Madden? How would he do it?
Dog, give me back my son. Give me back my son. Give me back my son.
That needed some editing. There are dangers in going into the Wayback Machine. Give me the sound of Mel Gibson saying it the way that he said it in the what year is the movie, Jeremy? Ransom.
Gotta be late 90s.
It's 96.
Okay.
It's presently on Ted Knight's wiki.
Yeah, I was a year old, and this Ted Knight person died in 1986.
This Ted Knight person.
Play the sound of Mel Gibson doing it.
Give me back my son.
It's an iconic movie line.
You think?
Absolutely.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju at Le Batard Show. Is "Give Me Back My Son" an iconic movie line? So the reason I bring all this up, this heckler was ejected. You can't do these things at the Masters, right? This was a person whose swing did he interrupt? And we'll talk about Rory here in a second.
I think it was Rory.
Was it Rory's swing? Okay. So it is distracting. I don't know if Rory's a fan of the movie Ransom, but it is distracting.
Give me back my son.
Hugging the left. Let's keep an eye on it. It is down the left side, just like yesterday here at 17.
Can't be distracting if it's after the shot. So
Backswings and all that. But, yeah, it was a bad drive. But the crazy thing about Rory's performance was he actually didn't drive the ball accurately, really, at all.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys something about the one advantage I don't know that a lot of people are talking about today that McIlroy had. I just simply want to put it out there, this idea, because he won them back-to-back, and I'm assuming that many of you were assuming he was going to choke when it looked like he was choking. He had the best two-day lead that there's ever been at the Masters, and the reputation he had before winning that Masters was what happened on the third day to him. But he was resilient, obviously, on the last day, and it's got to be scary to have Scheffler chasing you. But the thing I wanted to ask you guys is, the rest of the tour is in Texas last week, and Rory's in Jupiter. He's got a house in Jupiter, and he's also got a $50 million private plane. So what was he doing? He was flying to Augusta to practice on the course, and then flying home for dinner.
Wow.
And so I ask you, is that worth a stroke?
Yes.
Is that worth one stroke of advantage? The fact that the guy who's won the Masters twice in a row has a $50 million plane that allows him to go back and forth like you would drive from Miami to West Palm because he can make the trip in 90 minutes. And he was practicing the course the week before while all the other guys were playing in Texas.
You know what's better than playing in Texas? Playing on the course that you're going to play on for the Masters.
But it's not like you weren't allowed. Like, he clearly is, all of them are clearly allowed to practice on the course if they can find the time, right?
Well, but they have another tournament. They have to be somewhere else working,
right?
Generally speaking.
Well,
like
they don't have to. They can choose to not, which is what.
But because
Rory
he has
did.
the jet, he has the means to go and practice.
And because
there.
he's made a lot of money, it's not like, well, got to play the Valero.
It's awesome.
I wonder what the rules are, though, on the Masters. Can everyone come and practice if they like?
Yes. Yeah. I don't think it's all that uncommon. I wouldn't be surprised if Rory wasn't the only person that did it.
It just sounds incredibly convenient that he has the means to do that.
Yeah, wealth does seem like it makes your life easier.
Man, being wealthy would be so cool.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. It is. I'm sorry. I was thinking about not making the joke because it's obnoxious. It's an obnoxious joke to make, but I thought it'd be funny. And then I'm looked at in the room. I'm like,
Big Malcolm over here.
And I missed my window. Yes, wealth is convenient, but $50 million plane wealth, that's a whole different thing. The idea that he was coming home for dinner every night. He's practicing the course, and he's having dinner with his family.
Still possible to do that with Flying Spirit.
To Augusta?
Yeah. Takes a little drive.
You think Augusta is going to, you think Spirit is going to get him back and forth as fast and as easy as and as conveniently as a private plane?
No. I know that much about Spirit and private aviation.
I love the
that
idea.
Difference.
I love the idea of Rory flying Spirit. Do you think you would get one of the seats up front? You pay a little bit extra. You get more room.
The big seats, yeah.
Yeah. I'd have to assume he'd get one of the seats.
$9 fare club and all.
The ones that come with a seatbelt.
How did you feel about watching that? Were you rooting for him? Where were your rooting interests yesterday? Because the story around him is less interesting than it used to be. Conquering and excellence aren't quite as fun as wondering whether somebody is mentally frail or not.
I think that they're both super fun. They're both super fun. And
rooting for mental frailty.
Seeing a guy go back to back at Augusta is, that's something like if you look back, it's like a once in a generation type of deal. So it's hugely impressive.
It's happened only 4 times, right?
Yeah. Who was the last guy to do it? Tiger?
Yeah.
That was
25 years ago.
Yeah, 25 years ago. It's insane. Blessed to see it. But I think everybody was kind of rooting for Rory or at least for the pack to catch up to Rory. And considering the second round that he had, that was only going to be possible with a little bit of a meltdown. It's the rare time where you can probably say, yeah, he did choke some. And then he showed resilience because he lost the lead. He had to come back. He was, on the same tee box as the guy that overtook him at one point.
Right, it looked like he was going to run away with it after Friday.
Yeah, and then he started melting down again, and Rory was kind of one of those guys that you're like, this guy can fold. He can get a little nervous. It's happened to him before.
I like that as a take, though, the idea that you could come out today and say, yes, Rory McIlroy, the Masters champion, did indeed choke.
Yeah. You could say the same thing about the Panthers.
Then he stopped choking.
Yeah.
No.
You could say the same thing about the Panthers from like 2 years ago. They absolutely choked. But they're champions.
Can you though? Yeah, if you is blowing a 3-0 lead and it becoming 3-3 is that choking?
I don't agree. No, I disagree. And just like I disagree with the idea that Rory choked. Choke implies that like you completed the choke.
No, but he did choke. On the third day, if I ask you, hey, Zaz, did he choke today?
No.
Did he choke today?
Okay, but what does today matter? It's like, hey, we choked in the last 3 minutes. We gave up a goal. Like what?
No, but if I asked you, he goes into day 3 with the biggest lead in the history of the Masters after 2 days, and you remember the one of those that Tiger won at like minus 19 or whatever. It was.
Yeah.
I thought it was surprising that the biggest lead ever after 2 days was on Saturday. And if I come up to you after, what was it, hole 11? If I come up to you and I say, If I say to you at the end of the day, when he's no longer leading after having the biggest lead, did Rory choke today? What would your answer be?
My answer would be no. He had a bad third day.
No, it would just be like he just had to clear his throat, just like a little. All right, that's it.
Wrong
right?
pipe, little wrong pipe.
Yeah, like,
Whereas
can I get a glass of water?
Whereas the
Yeah, a
Panthers,
little bit of water.
Whereas the Panthers against the Oilers was straight up like, is there a doctor here? Is anyone a doctor?
Heimlich.
I think day 3 was yes. You're shouting in the restaurant. There's turning purple. There is people are
Greg Sankey's there.
It's like Peter Burns?
hitting you on the
Like
back.
Greg Sankey,
Yes,
just watching him.
Just
Greg
like
Sankey
that.
didn't even help, by the way.
Just all of it is just like that. That was Rory's day 3. He was turning purple and he couldn't breathe for 65 seconds. And if I came up to him and said, "Are you choking?" and he would just say, "Just a little bit, just a little bit. I'll be fine tomorrow. I won't be choking tomorrow. I'll be putting on the green jacket and I will be champion tomorrow."
Yeah,
In the meantime,
For a choke to happen, the end result has to be losing. Otherwise, I didn't choke.
That's
Okay.
not true.
I mean, that's sports
Is that
debate,
one
baby.
word?
I don't think that's true, but we will move on to other subject matter because we have a story that I think I can say is weird. Okay, weird for a handful of reasons. Okay, out of nowhere this weekend, it was reported right before the draft. And weirdly, not by any of the people who are investing in this. This was not a story that was known just about anywhere until it was reported. It's not. NFL teams are now aware of something that was a secret for a long time, and it's that Ruben Bane got into an accident at 4 o'clock in the morning that ended the life eventually of a 22-year-old woman who, at the time, suffered, suffered really permanent damage and then 3 weeks later died. And the report comes from a place that I've never heard of. The Read Optional is where this story starts. And I did not know what that was. I still don't know what that is. But when I read it, and I read the police reports, and I read that Ruben Bane was not tested for sobriety at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Ali Connolly is a person that this story originated from. He once named the Duke one of the best insiders in the NFL. He's reputable though and breaks a lot of stuff.
I don't doubt it, but the part
And this stuff is clearly factual.
It is factual. There are no questions about it. But the part about it to me that was surprising, or the most surprising, I guess, is that it stayed quiet. This happened when he was a sophomore. And it's coming out right now before the draft. And so when I read that story, and it's impossible, I think, to read that story without feeling it's awful, and it's got the hint of suspicious because it's been not talked about somehow and a secret to everybody when we can't keep any secrets anymore. Yeah. It's impossible to keep any secrets. And you're telling me that someone died in a car accident that Ruben Bane was in as a sophomore and nobody knew?
That part is surprising. There is a reaction like, wow, Miami kept this quiet. I'm not exactly sure how one goes about doing that. There was a citation here, but the citation was dropped. And when this happened...
Careless driving.
Yeah, and it was dropped. It should be noted that I think later in 2025, there was another time that Ruben Bane was cited for reckless driving, and that was also dropped. So nothing felonious here.
That time was reckless because careless and reckless are different.
I forget. But either way, nothing happened. Like, this was also not careless driving in that after it went through the process, it was dropped. So he wasn't actually, but at the time he was. He was not given a field sobriety test at 4 a.m. I've seen some people questioning, like, how does that happen? I know how it stays quiet at Miami because nothing really happened here. But it wasn't possible to keep it quiet with Adarius Hayes, who was held on 3 counts of vehicular manslaughter. He was dismissed from the program. People knew about that. I was surprised, like, the Andy Slaters of the world did not come out with something here. I did not know about this. I found out about it the same time everybody else did. I did know that I heard some chirps from people in the NFL, like, hey, they're poking in on some off-field stuff on Ruben, and I didn't think anything of it. And, yeah, I was shocked and sad to see this. There was a statement from the family that ended up wishing Ruben Bane the best throughout his life and his career. this is really unfortunate. And it's one of those things that comes out right before the draft, no doubt.
Oh, okay. So with him saying that last note, can I throw out there, like, is it possible that an NFL team leaks this? Because they want him to drop.
Yes, I read the article. It seemed like this was leaked from the NFL. And if you read that article, they also allude to there might be some other things that they're looking into with Ruben Bane. But, yeah, this was very clearly leaked.
That's so dirty.
By one of the teams in the process.
So, like, a team that drafts him because they want him, the team that drafts him may have been the one that leaked this information.
Yeah, there's all sorts of fan theories there. But, yeah, that one of the takes that's out there is somebody wants him to drop.
I misspoke earlier in saying that no one knew about this. There was a lawsuit. It was settled, and so teams did know about it. But the family doesn't want to talk about it, didn't want to talk about it, and now is being asked questions about it.
I didn't see anything about a lawsuit, which is why, like, we would have known about that. I think that if had there been a lawsuit, we definitely would have been known about it earlier.
He was cited at the time of the incident. Charges were dropped prior to her death. That was a few months after this crash. And the family released a statement through that same article, and what they said was Destiny's passing was the result of a tragic accident that occurred several years ago. While the loss remains incredibly painful for our family, we have worked hard to find peace and move forward. At this time, we are not seeking public attention surrounding this tragedy and respectfully request that our family's privacy be honored. We also wish Mr. Bane the best as he continues his life and career.
I mean, it's a tragic accident. Someone lost their life. If he was deemed responsible by authorities, number one, we certainly would have known it because that would have been something that would have been through the court system, and there's no way to hide any of that. This just seems like a really tragic, sad accident that he had to deal with. This happened before his sophomore season. Ruben Bane did have a rough sophomore season. Probably weighed on him some.
Please look up for me whether Albert Breer has said that a lawsuit in Miami was settled at the time, because it may have been something that was just quieter than you think, because
there were two teammates in the car too, which is another aspect of this and makes it surprising that this was, not something that was out there.
And I will just I will correct Mike.
Yeah, Albert Breer does say that there was a lawsuit.
Yep.
I will just correct Mike when he says, just so that you don't think us indelicate, when he says nothing happened, nothing illegal was found to have happened.
Yeah, someone lost their life. Something awful happened.
That's correct. And 3 weeks after the accident, the family not wanting to talk about it is certainly understandable, but also if there was a lawsuit, that might be part of how it is that gets settled, so that the family doesn't talk about it because they cannot talk about it. All of it sounds awful, and I will just say again that I remain surprised that something like this could happen when he was a sophomore, and it largely escaped the attention of the public at a time when secrets are just not possible to keep anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just...
Well, the NFL draft brings all that stuff out, no doubt.
So how was spring practice while you were out there 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage, breathing hot on the neck of these teenagers that you want to win you a championship?
Yeah,
that's how it was.
Hey, I believe Chase Smith is close to 30 years old, and so is Mo Toure. Yeah. Hey,
Mo Toure, very important.
Rest in peace. Well, he died for us. Everyone
exactly
knows.
Right. We'll never forget that, just like Roy.
Yeah. Spring games this weekend. Miami seems to be rolling with a true freshman at left tackle. You got to be a special talent to do that. Jackson Cantwell has been, as advertised, been incredible. Miami looks real good. Jordan Lyle continues to be a Green Tree Hall of Famer. Malachi Toney, different number. So at one point I had to look at my roster sheet and be like, who's number one? He's pretty good. That's not JoJo. And it was Malachi Toney. Again, superstar, total superstar. The wide receiver room is really impressive.
So just to be clear, you went out to practice on your off day.
Can confirm. Malachi Toney, good.
So, okay. So you reconfirm that. Mm-hmm. Roy, do you have Thank you.
That's why I'm one of the proprietors of Canes Insight, or Insight on that. By the way, we have a new app. Download it. It runs really smoothly.
Can they get you saying that Malachi is good?
All sorts of observations like that. Really keen observation from practice. Mensah stretched the field a little bit more this time, which was good to see. And I got to tell you, this Josh Moore kid, who played some last year, had a nice moment against USF as a true freshman. He has really leveled up. And I think Cooper Barkade's going to have a lot of yards here. But if you're just dropping in and watching these guys, like, it's a testament to how good that room is, because the wide receiver, which was something that Miami was worried about last year, that room is totally leveled up.
He was good at Duke. Like
he was a 1,000-yard receiver, yeah, and he does not flash compared to the rest of that room. It is really, really good.
That's a big difference over the last 4 years, because I would say that outside of Malaki, they have been hurting there for 4 years, 4 straight years.
Well, Xavier Restrepo had a 1,000-yard season too and set the all-time school record when it came to receiving yards.
I'm talking about everything around them, though. I'm talking about who you trusted as a second receiver. You were talking about rooms. Like, I'm not. Yes, you're not wrong that they've had. I guess. I mean, Restrepo is a college star. That can't be questioned. But man, their number 2 and number 3 receivers for the last 3 or 4 years don't do anything in the way of separation.
No, when
statistics.
No, when C.J. Daniels went down, Miami really felt that, and you're wondering who was going to step up, and they really had a magical run in the postseason. You didn't really know what you were going to get outside of Malachi Toney. So I feel much better about the receivers now. The athletes are just ridiculous, dude. And the kids that are coming in for visits, they're gigantic.
Do you see the difference, though? Do you see the difference between what it is that you were watching 5 years ago? Jeremy, why are you laughing?
He says the kids, and it just brought me back to your question of, do you like breathing hot air on the neck of teenagers?
Good start.
Hot neck.
Good start. It's not a play.
Still
on
a better
Dan.
start than Dan's question.
We don't have to put that on the poll.
It's all right. Do you like breathing hot neck on the neck of hot?
I'm trying to be nicer, Dan.
Teenagers?
The play on for me.
Give me back my son.
It was a play on for you.
That's the same Mel Gibson from those tapes.
Tony, you really have turned over a new leaf. That's a play.
It's post-Easter, Dan. I'm trying to be nice.
That's a play on. That's a play. How can you?
Play on for me.
I mean, please cut that up for me. Did you guys hear that differently than I did? That is absolutely not a play on in any incarnation of this show, whether it's Easter, whether you're being nice. That has never in the history of our show been a play on. Look at Zaz. Zaz, we've got to start comparing some of these, because I think we've got an all-timer right there.
Hot neck was bad.
No.
I've just raised the bar on what you expect from me to be so high that when I mess up, it just feels more monumental. Hot neck, who cares?
That's not it.
Jeremy, I understand why you're deflecting there. I would also argue that...
But really, the guy from the tapes, that Mel Gibson.
I would also argue that you're working too much.
Me? No.
My wife actually said that when she saw Jeremy at the end of the Heat game last night. She was talking. You were talking to somebody, I forget who, one important, and she goes, "Wow, how many jobs does he have?"
4.
And you started this work week with that as the first thing that you said on the show, and it is not a play on. And Tony has fallen down on the floor laughing at the idea that he would even try and get away with saying that was a play on, because it doesn't suit you, this inauthentic, nice person.
Just a great start to the week.
Roy, do me the favor of grabbing for me some
Hey.
Hold on.
A consortium? I was going to say, I think it's the wrong word. Grab me a group of the worst things said on this show in the last couple of weeks. Is there going to be anything worse than what it is that Zaslow was lamenting at UFC on Saturday? Let's stand back here, and what Jeremy is trying to say is that Mike was at practice and he was 20 yards behind some teenagers breathing hot breath on their necks.
That's it.
This is how it came out.
He says the kids, and it just brought me back to your question of, do you like breathing hot air on the neck of teenagers?
Good start.
Hot neck.
Good start.
All right, admittedly not my best.
He's three-time Emmy winner, Jeremy Taché.
He says the kids, and it just brought me back to your question of, do you like breathing hot air on the neck of teenagers?
Good
Woof,
start.
hot neck.
Good start.
Are we going to be this show now? Are we going to be this show now?
Are we going to be this show now?
I'm
We
just
already
saying.
are this show now against our will.
And you need to think long and hard if this is a direction you want this show to go in. I think we should be one that's an atmosphere that is a forgiving one.
Good start.
And allows people to power through.
Good start.
Because if we're going to be this show, there's going to be people that don't like how this plays out for them.
Good start. Dan, you were saying. Go ahead.
Tony, you tried by saying it's Easter, which
It was Easter.
I said post-Easter.
No, that's not true. Orthodox family over here. Easter was on Sunday.
Well, there you go.
but it's Monday.
Yeah, it
Post-Easter.
It was Easter yesterday for many religions.
But it's Monday.
Yes, and yesterday was Easter Sunday. It's Easter. It's still the Easter season.
Exactly.
Rory was choking on day 3, but it's still the Masters season, and he stopped choking on day 4. The Cyclones, Zaslow.
They might be choking.
What's going on with them?
They might be choking.
Mike was so mad last week.
Yeah, bad form. Bad form. We haven't won a game in a month, and the playoffs are beginning next week. Final 2 games of the regular season. Your boy needs a point in both of these games against the Warriors. Parity has come to Battle Court in this new extended fronton, but also more feet to your fronton means Manu has to run a little bit more, which has proven to be a bad thing for the Cyclones.
He doesn't like
bad.
He doesn't like the new court, right?
No.
That'll be a good question to ask him during
your South Beach session.
See if I can get something that gets aggregated.
Open disdain. He hates this court. We're really struggling right now. We need to win both these games against the Warriors. First toss tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Stream it on ESPN and on YouTube. And then Friday, the regular season finale of the spring season of Battle Court. Come on out. The Jam Arena.
You're not expecting, though. You're defending champion, and the form you guys are showing here headed into the playoffs makes it sound like you're not enthusiastic. You're not giving off hope. You're telling people to go, but you feel a little bit broken.
I'm hopeful. I saw our team had a big time practice over the weekend. Players only meeting. The captain, leading, as he always does, decided to bring the troops together and see if we can turn this thing around. We're going to have to. All the teams are bunched up, but the Cyclones got off to such a great start. It's a little Rory Day 3 action right now, so we're hoping for Rory Day 4.
Zaz, how are you feeling headed into the playoffs here for the Miami Heat? Because you said last week they're not making the playoffs.
They're not.
Now they have to play Charlotte. Orlando choked. Did Orlando choke
That's
yesterday
a
at
joke.
Boston?
Joke franchise.
That's
an
a
absolute joke franchise, Dan. Did you see what happened?
Yes, I did.
For the people that didn't know, okay, Desmond Bane, who is kind of an Iron Man, played all 82 games. They check him into the game. He plays like nothing, like 5 minutes. They take him out. Orlando needs this win to get out of the play-in
They're
game.
playing 5 guys who started for Boston. You've never heard of them.
Baylor Shireman, good player. Mike, that's your boy, by the way, 37-7.
Yeah. I'm like, who's this guy? Exciting whites.
They have a bunch of them there. So they're losing. The Boston Celtics won a 30-8 run. All of a sudden, you see Desmond Bane at the end of the bench tying his shoes and stretching again. He hadn't played in 40 minutes of game time. They brought him back in. They ended up losing. Just a joke franchise. The entire thing is a clown show.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Are the Orlando Magic a joke choke clown show?
Glad you added the clown show at the end.
Joke choke clown show because they lost at Boston yesterday in a game that they were 13-point favorites in because they were playing their guys, and Boston wasn't even playing their bench. They were playing the portion of the bench that never plays. Like, it's not – it's the guys who get the last 3 minutes of the game and when they're winning by 40. That's it. And so for Orlando to lose that game when they came all the way back – They came all the way back, trailing all game, and then lost it in the last 50 seconds. And now their path is brutal when all of us – I'm not joking when I say that's one of the most disappointing teams in that entire league.
Yep. Orlando, you would have guessed, especially because Indiana we knew was going to be down this year. You thought Boston would be a little bit down. Orlando probably should have been a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference this year. And instead, because they lost yesterday, they could have jumped as high as 6 if they won. But instead, because they lost, they dropped to 8. So they have to play at Philadelphia in the play-in just to make the playoffs. But the Heat are not going to make the playoffs.
I can't believe the Hawks won this division. If you would have told me that a couple of months ago, over Orlando, it's crazy. No, the good news is we get Knicks Hawks now in an opening series. That should be really good. The bad news is we get Cavs Raptors.
NBA TV series, here we come.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's more bad news than that. Bad news for the Eastern Conference. The Celtics started 5-7 and finished 51-19, and played most of those games without Jason Tatum. Like it's gonna be a problem.
Mazzulla should win Coach of the Year for what he did with this roster, because he had guys like Luke Garza, Ron Harper Jr., and Baylor Shireman, who all had more than 27 points.
I mean, 56 wins for the Celtics this year.
The press box has changed.
But Mike said it best. The press box has changed. I mean, seriously, get over yourself. We're going to talk during the post game. Tim Reynolds, enough. I mean, enough.
I mean,
seriously.
you just got to know when
You're
the
not allowed to cheer in the press box. Did you know that?
Well, I did.
They were cheering for Will Manso. I think that's allowed.
And Goldie.
If the Dan Le Batard Show comes to a hockey press box, hilarity is going to ensue.
Yeah.
They're going to yell at Will Manso for 7 minutes, and you're probably going to have to go to a stairwell to write, man. Like, it's just...
if it was 7 minutes, I'd get it.
It
was
is what
7
it is.
seconds.
Exactly. I mean, David, everyone else was saying hi. They were enjoying the show. They were laughing at us. But one guy is still clutching on to his newspaper deadline.
I'm a little
it's
disappointed.
Tim Reynolds.
And is he your demographics, too?
I don't know.
I happen to like Tim a lot, and I imagine this was going to be like E.J. Raddick or something, but that's just a bad look for Tim Reynolds.
Listen, I went up to him afterwards.
This was the best part. Stugotz is like, I've known Tim for years. I'm going to go fix this. He walked to Tim and walked right back very quickly.
Yep.
It was a very quick interaction.
Well, he was writing. Okay?
He's on deadline. It's
enough of the deadline.
It's a
we're on deadline. I gotta get home. I feel like playoff hockey. I gotta get home. I mean,
yeah, we're on deadline too. We got to get that post game out.
It is a working press box. Tim Reynolds is a journalist who's trying to write, and Stugotz is back there. Hey, Will Manso!
That was Chris and Goldie. Don't leave out Goldie.
We're on deadline too. They're going to kick us out of that press box a lot sooner than they'll kick out Tim Reynolds, who's just typing away.
Those writers had their game stories done before the end of the
Precisely.
Yeah, a good writer, right?
What
happened there? I apologize to him. I've known Tim for decades. I mean, Cody was done. He was out of there. I mean,
What was that interaction like, Stugotz? Take us behind the scenes. You walk up to him, you say what, he says what?
I said, Tim, I apologize. That's on me. I should know better. Not Chris, okay? I should know better. I've been in press boxes before. I know you have a deadline. I apologize. And he said, that's fine. Just, try to keep it down.
That is way too long.
That was much longer than the actual conversation.
I always extend it a little bit. I mean, you guys know that.
Can we call Tim Reynolds and just ask him about what the interaction was like?
No.
Greg Cody's back in my day. Seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably notice seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are, if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, coffee, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer antioxidants, plant-based nutrients, and anti-inflammatory properties. But enough about this science. Bring back seeds because seeds are fun. Not to mention aesthetically and visually pleasing. Kids growing up today have sliced open a watermelon, have never sliced open a watermelon, and experienced the joy of seeing that juicy red flesh dotted with embedded black seeds. Nellie Doogie used to tell us if we swallowed a watermelon seed, a big melon would grow in our belly. It wasn't true. But as kids would make a competition out of seed spitting. You extracted the big seeds from the melon flesh. Tongue only, never fingers or a utensil, and you'd see who could project a seed the farthest. Every summer we did that. This was before video games, kids. Made our own games and toys. Flew a kite, kicked a can, spit a seed. Grapes were the...
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
There are a number of different things that I'd like to get to that I find interesting about basketball as we approach the most exciting time, but a really weird season. Weird for a couple of different reasons. The average margin of victory was 13.5 points, so some of that math distortion that has come to baseball, the three-pointer has distorted things, and also the distortion of you've got 20 teams that are good and 10 that don't care about being good or whatever it is. And you end up in a situation where they're expanding, and also one of the bad teams had Giannis on it. One of the bad teams just fired. I haven't seen this before. Maybe you have. Guy gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, then gets fired. Like weeks later, like that, has that happened a lot? You guys got a lot of memories of guy gets into Hall of Fame, and then 2 weeks later, the Bucks say, Doc Rivers is about to make, he was about to make more than $10 million. So he's going to make more than $10 million next year to not coach for the Milwaukee Bucks, right? His is an 8-figure salary, not a 7-figure salary.
I mean, look, I'm with you on him being fired. It's going to wind up being called he stepped away. You know, I think he was very clearly going to get fired. But you're right about the Hall of Fame part. Like, he was just named a Hall of Fame inductee for this year. It was a couple weeks ago. I don't get the Doc Rivers thing. I really don't. Like, even if you don't count Milwaukee, who would have fired him, he's been fired 3 other times in his career. He was about to be fired in Boston, too, before that Kevin Garnett trade. And the thing that gets me the most is, ever since Boston, so we're talking about Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and even Boston before they hired Kevin Garnett, every fan base of the teams that he coached couldn't wait for their team to get rid of him. I don't understand how he's a Hall of Fame coach.
I don't think Orlando. I don't think that's accurate for Orlando.
No, not Orlando. Not Orlando.
But when you say so, he's 97 and 103 in Milwaukee. And look, I want to talk some about the Masters, but just and LeBron's first round is super interesting as well, just because I can't believe the oldest player in the league is going into a playoff series where he's got a home court advantage, and it's all required of him again, like because the younger guys broke down, like so now.
Looking at Jared Vanderbilt, like, buddy, I need help.
But it's crazy. He's looking at Luke Kennard. He's like, really? So it's okay. All right, here we go.
You're here, huh?
All right, here we go. But Doc, I want to examine for a second what has happened with Doc Rivers when a basketball expert says to you, "I don't get it," and he's going in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. So there's a gulf there. But
he did bring a championship to Milwaukee.
And no.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He brought a championship to Milwaukee.
Are you doing? Is this like in-season tournament?
Yeah, a championship. NBA in-season
the Emirates
championship.
Cup.
He brought a title to Milwaukee.
Zaz is smiling at you as if he's cringing at the joke you're making.
It's a trophy.
It's a fake smile. It's
a made-up thing.
It's something that every team competes for in the league, and everybody was going for it. And honestly, the Lillard thing wasn't that big of a failure.
They were 31-13 before he took over.
Champions forever.
I want to go back for a second and look at the entirety of it. So Doc Rivers, man, television's powerful, okay? Like, there are any number of broadcasters who parlay. I mean, J.J. Redick got the Lakers job. Like,
Stephen A. Smith is considering a run for president.
Television is powerful. Doc Rivers overachieved in Orlando, and it was the last time he overachieved. And got a television job, and he charms the hell out of everybody. Everybody likes Doc Rivers, even though many people think he's also a phony because he's learned to do all of that in the name of he gets great jobs, like great jobs, not good jobs, great jobs.
Look at the job he got. You said the record of, who was it, Budenholzer that they let go, or was it Adrian Griffin?
He was an advisor for Milwaukee, and then he advised them to hire him.
But he's got epic failure on his resume with the Clippers. Like, this is a complicated legacy. It's interesting. He's got he had the best Clippers teams that there have been, the most successful ones. And so that was viewed as overachieving. But then in those series with Chris Paul, he has a series of Game 7 blights that are on no other coach's resume.
Well, I mean, you have to give him credit for getting those teams. The Clippers franchise was nothing, was literally a nothing. And he built this team in the front office, helped build this team into the Lob City threat and all that stuff that was super fun in the early 20 teens. And yeah, he lost, but like, what do you want him to do?
Yeah, but he won a championship in Boston and resurrected the franchise, even though he did it with those three players that were clearly the three best to have in a league, so much so that LeBron decided he was going to form his own three because he couldn't get past those three.
He won 20-something games in 2007 with Boston. He was about to be fired. And then they traded for Kevin Garnett, and his entire career has been telling everybody about him being a champion with Boston.
They're paying him, though, Milwaukee. It is, I'm pretty sure it's a $10 million plus salary that they're paying him to not work next year.
Well, I mean, if it is technically him stepping away, they're not going to pay him anything. Well,
I think that's why he didn't, quote unquote, retire, because then they're off the hook for paying him the money.
No, guys. No, he'll consult. He'll do something. He's going to get that money. They're going to have. He's not taking a pay cut. He's not leaving that job. What are you talking about? Like, he's not leaving that job willingly because he just decided I don't want my $10 million salary.
He said he wants to hang out with his grandkids.
But sub 500 with Giannis.
And a championship. Hard to pull that off.
Seems impossible.
Yo, stop saying that, man.
Stop ignoring it.
The grin you were giving him, it seemed disbelief was hiding behind a fake. Mike, are you really making this joke again and again?
I think it's the first time anyone has ever referenced the in-season tournament Emirates Cup championship as part of their resume.
The Knicks will always have that for Anunoby. Like, the Knicks will always remember. That's an all-time memory for the Knicks franchise.
Honestly, when you look back at LeBron's time with the Lakers, it should be noted he's won 2 championships there.
Because that wasn't a bubble championship, too.
Right, so a lot of people were like, well, this one doesn't count. And then you know what the King did? Showed him in front of a full house. I can beat the Pacers.
Are you guys not
in a single elimination tournament?
Are you guys not interested in LeBron just playing in the first round with a Lakers team where young guys have broken down? Like, it is funny to think that Rich Paul was saying during the season the Lakers are not a championship contender, and now the only way they get to be a championship contender is if the oldest player in the league drags them out of the first round with a tough young defense like
this. Thompson on the other side,
a swarming defense on the other side, and he's more limited than he has been in the half court. If he wins that series,
but that's why I'm saying it's an all-timer possibly in the Western Conference, because LeBron does it with no Luka, no Austin Reeves.
What I'm telling you, I'll say this flatly. If LeBron wins that series as the home court favorite and the higher seed, it is the biggest achievement of his career.
Well, what if he keeps marching through the playoffs, so then he ties Jordan?
No, to do it by himself. No, not to do it as.
No,
he's doing the Chris Bosh. He's doing the role of Kevin Love now. He's the third player, and they've actually started to play well. But he's lost both his 2 young guys. The oldest player in the league winning a first-round playoff series against that Houston defense.
And against KD, too. Like,
trying to bring a third title to Los Angeles.
But where's the help?
Jared Vanderbilt and Ruri Hachimura.
That's not right.
Kennard. That is right. That is right. What do you mean it's not right? And,
Rui Hachimura?
What'd you call him?
I thought you were saying that those weren't his teammates. I didn't realize you were coming after
Rui
him.
Hachimura.
DeAndre Ayton, last heard, JJ Redick just said flatly he's having trouble catching the ball.
Come on.
That was what JJ Redick's assessment was of DeAndre Ayton. It was just the sentence of, here, let's hear it. It's crazy to think that you're hearing about it. You're hearing this about a number 1 overall pick.
You're going to ask DeAndre to do some different things. What are those things, and how do you think he's?
Yeah, he's had trouble catching the ball. So we've ran a bunch of plays for him. He's just had trouble catching the ball, and I don't know if that's the passing or if it's him trying to get position. He hasn't been able to catch the ball.
3 times he's having trouble catching the ball. This is what you would say about a T-baller.
You would say it to someone playing in YMCA.
Or like with tiny hands. Like, yeah, it's hard to catch the ball. I've got tiny hands.
No, a toddler. You're a toddler. You would say this if you were watching T-ballers. My third baseman, he's having trouble catching the ball. You don't say this about DeAndre Ayton.
It's a huge thing. Remember, the Heat had to bring in Ronny Turioff just because he could catch the ball.
Yeah. If a parent were to say to the manager of the T-ball team, why isn't my kid playing more? He's having trouble catching the ball.
Mike Ryan is right. You talk about liking to talk about the old days. This is what happened to the Miami Heat at center when they got 3 guys and couldn't pay anybody else. It was Joel Anthony who had frying pans for hands. It was
Warden.
It was Eric Dampier who played in flip-flops.
We had Big Z. You forgot about Big Z.
Yeah, Big Z. Don't forget that.
Big Z could catch the ball. LeBron loved tossing him the ball in the post, but he was 1,000 years old. He was a mummy his last season with the Heat. He needed WD-40 when he was running down the court. Who else? Hold on. What's the order of this? Go through this with me for a second, because they did get Turioff specifically, and I think he was off a heart attack.
That might be right. He had some kind of ailment.
Heart issue. Yeah,
that's a good memory.
Straight up heart attack.
Okay.
We were trying to piece it together. We had Joel Anthony, Ronny Turioff, Eric Dampier, and we were like, Ronny Turioff was a revelation.
Greg Oden, too. Forgot Greg Oden.
Yeah, Greg Oden, Eddie Curry. Yeah. But then we got Birdman. We're like, what is this?
Yeah.
He just dunks it.
Birdman was so much better than that lot.
Wait a minute. This is what Big Z should have been doing if he wasn't a mummy.
He can catch the ball and do something with it. It goes through the hoop when he catches it. Birdman. Wow. What was in his past?
Roy, play for me, please, the stat of the day music.
Start of the day, start of the day. This year's start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year's start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year's start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year's start of the day.
Dexter Pittman. The Dexter Pittman game.
Remember, he started that game against Indiana.
I thought Spo was going to lose his job to Tom Crean.
Look at the Pittman game, Jeremy, and tell me if he had 5 fouls in 6 minutes.
When the Longhorns were making a run in the tournament, they showed old clips, and Dexter Pittman was in the background, and a chill legit went down my spine.
Please look up that box score. I want to know when all of Miami was scared of the Indiana Pacers, and Dwayne Wade was walking to the Marquette campus to fall to his knees and have Tom Crean pray over them.
Threw that bow into Lance Stevenson.
When Roy Hibbert made me tell Stephen A. Smith that I'd fear Roy Hibbert more than Tim Duncan against LeBron James because LeBron was doing baby hooks in the Heat's gym in secret because he was so afraid of Hibbert.
You said you would start your team with Hibbert.
Just against LeBron. Just against LeBron, I would
over
say.
Tim Duncan.
Yes, I did. I was appalled that Stephen A. Smith would select Tim Duncan.
We have to play this audio. We played it on a day that you weren't in. Dan, you were not going to believe this audio. I know you have a stat.
It's great. And we'll get to it.
But play this audio.
You got a 7-game series against the Heat that you've got to win tomorrow. I'm giving you the entire league to pick players from. Who's your first pick? You have to beat the Heat in a 7-game series. Your first pick is?
I would say Tim Duncan. You need a big because obviously Miami.
No.
Yes. I want Tim Duncan, especially after he missed. Especially after he missed the shot he missed last year because he's hungrier than ever.
I can't believe you took Duncan over Hibbert. Like, what are you talking about?
Stay strong, Steven.
I would take Tim Duncan.
Yep, me too.
Over Hibbert?
Yep.
Those are the longest 27 seconds of my life.
Duncan won the title that year.
Do you know how afraid LeBron was of Hibbert? He was doing sky hooks. Anyway, look up the Pittman minutes for me and see if it was 5 fouls in 6 minutes.
So it was not. It was, he started game 3 of the conference semifinals against the Pacers.
Which year?
In year 2.
2012.
The 2011-2012 season. He played 3 minutes. He had 1 personal foul. He was -5, 0 for 2 from the field. The Heat scored 75 points in that game, in a game in which LeBron James and Dwayne Wade both started and played 35 or more minutes.
We went down 2-1, right?
That's right. Lost 94-75. Roy Hibbert, in his 33 minutes, had 19 points and 18 rebounds.
Wow. Over Hibbert?
5 blocks.
And then the Heat were down 10 at halftime of game 4.
The stat of the day, it's been making its way over around the internet, and I was surprised by it. It's great. I can't credit it because a lot of people were sharing it. Rory McIlroy has won 2 Masters since the Jets last had an interception.
What a stupid team.
That's crazy.
Damn.
It does seem impossible. I think the Jets were the first franchise ever to go an entire season without an interception.
What's more
last
impressive?
year.
What's tougher to do in the history of sport?
Put it
Win
on-
back-to-back Masters or go an entire NFL season without
It's
an
never
interception?
happened in the NFL.
Clearly
it's
it's
happened
Jets.
4
That's
times.
wild.
In the
There's a lot of golfers in that field.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. What's more impressive, winning back-to-back Masters or going an entire season without an interception? We've got some word problems around here. I've been having trouble speaking lately. We've got some all-timers in the last couple of weeks. We will be a forgiving show.
We got some all-timers today.
Yeah. How many do you have here, Roy? When we just play, we've got 1 all-timer today. Jeremy, that's the worst that Jeremy has ever been at a microphone, and it's also weirdly the most efficient.
Do you like breathing hot air on the neck
Oh
of
my.
teenagers?
Good
Woof,
start.
hot neck.
Good start.
Justin Hamilton. Josh Harrelson. Jorts.
That good start.
It's kind of like a karate chop to the neck that I do to Chris, like verbally.
That's
I did
not
it to
the
Jeremy.
forgiving, though, Easter.
It wasn't. I had to redo everything and then give him the plan.
All right, but let's see. I want to actually vote on this. I want Juju to put this as well out there and get a vote on which is the worst of these, because this can be a SUI category of mispronunciations.
Mikkel Gladness.
And Ruri Huchimara.
Kel Gladness. Rui Huchimara?
I like Zaz just saying Huchimara.
Why would you tell me? Well, that was right. Rui Huchimara?
No, but I thought it was right because I thought what you were saying is that you were recognizing who the 2 teammates were and saying, there's no way that's all LeBron is going into the playoffs with. I didn't realize that you were.
Rui Huchimara?
Jarvis Varnado.
That's how Mike Breen says it?
Roy, do me the favor of grabbing for me some
Hey.
Hold on.
We should stop this game. Truce.
peace treaty. Tool their tool. Do something.
Yeah, why? Why, Mike? Why did we do it the next to last game?
I'm here to broker peace. This needs to stop.
You had a couple today I didn't jump on, by the way.
Me?
Yeah, you did.
No.
Sensitive topics, I didn't say anything.
Oh, on the Bane thing? I was taking my time. Almanac. That's from a couple weeks ago, right?
Whoa. Still plays.
Almanac. You're not going to like this.
Are you going to say it in
You're not
Spanish? Where are you going with that?
You're trying to drag me down to your tier. I'm not in this tier.
This begins with me yelling at Stephen A. Smith and Hibbert. Yeah, no one will have a greater shame than me, no matter where this ends up.
Over Hibbert?
How has Zaz asking Dusty May whether winning the championship felt better than losing in the Final Four not made an appearance on this list of things?
Because it's not on here, right?
You did what?
Jeremy wasn't here for that. He was out that day. So he has no idea that Zaz asked Dusty May, is it better to win or is it better to lose?
Roy will find that in a second. Roy, how much more sound do you have here? Mike is asking us to pull the parachute on this, and I want to follow this wherever it goes, but I've lost my confidence in you if you can't find the most recent example of Zaz asking Dusty May if it's better to win than lose.
Dan, I'm actually adding more stuff right now.
Wow. Careful. Dan messed up Zaz's name.
Zask.
Yeah.
We should stop.
I don't think we should. I think we should press the gas on this and see where it is that we end up. Especially if Zaz went to UFC Saturday.
It's us.
If Zask went to if Zask went to UFC on Saturday and felt remorse because he was thinking about how dumb Dusty May thinks he is.
Well, it wasn't. I didn't feel bad. Yes, I felt bad about what Dusty May likely thinks of me, all right? Because I'm the guy in the Waymo and the guy who asks a stupid question. So that does make me feel bad. Like Dusty May definitely knows who I am now.
100% knows who you are.
100%, but that's how he knows me. But no, I felt bad. Go ahead, Roy. I'll go ahead. Coach, did the winning feel better than losing in the Final Four with FAU?
What?
Coach,
that's
did
not
the
real.
winning feel better than losing in the Final Four with FAU? The hardest part to swallow there is there was such a wide variance in if I had used the proper words, it's a great question, but I used bad words, and so it ends up being the worst question. A massive variance there. Coach, did the winning feel better than losing in the Final Four with FAU?
I will say the words are probably the biggest part of asking a question.
I know. I meant to use different words.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Are words the biggest part of asking a question? Also, I don't think when you say the biggest variance, Jeremy, do you understand what he was going for there? Because he says he thought he had a brilliant question. Did you understand the brilliance in the question? What did you think the question was meant to be?
So is the run that you had before a better feeling than this one? No?
No.
You asked genuinely, did it feel better to win the national championship?
No, but do you understand what he
game?
meant? He's saying he is not wrong when he says that the question he meant to ask was a good question. But nobody gets it right when they ask. Nobody understands what he was trying to ask. This is what he was trying to ask.
Coach, did the winning feel better than losing in the Final Four with FAU?
Losing felt bad. Did the feel good feel better than the feel bad felt bad?
The juxtaposition.
And that's
a good question, Dan.
The
if you would have said
dichotomy.
that would have been perfect.
That's a good
alliteration
question.
and all.
But that's what he was trying.
He would have
to
never
ask.
said that. He would have never said. Let's be honest. He would have never said that.
So it haunted you? How
Yeah.
was your UFC experience? Because we're headed toward something that's about to make me very sad as someone who This was the place that me and my brother shared in sports. He didn't really like sports at all, but he liked the measurements and the sciences of the combat sports. But the combat sports have been taken over by Trump and are a propaganda arm for like some.
Did Lebo like the measurements and the sciences, or did he like to watch two guys in a fight?
Nope.
Nope.
I
was like, this is such a Danism. The measurements and science.
No.
Why is two guys beating the shit out of each other?
But it's styles. But the specifics of my brother liked to see ground game against striker, liked to see jiu-jitsu, just all of it, the science of it. The people who are great at it, who love what Tony loves about the technicians of the craft, and that it's the oldest thing that people do, and they've been perfecting it over many, many years. And judo against karate, which wins, whatever. And it is a sport that I've loved since the beginning, right? When they had the theatrics of the guy comes to the cage with a crucifix, a giant wooden cross on his back, and it's all like this. It's a gutter of not mainstream stuff that you can't get anywhere. That's like the dirty place long before Kimbo Slice even exists on the internet. There's this sport where they're doing what? How's that legal? And John McCain is saying it's cockfighting, and Skipper won't sit next to Dana White, even though Dana White wants him right next to him so that they can see this has been legitimized. It's not cockfighting. It's not barbaric. It's beautiful. It's the gladiator sport.
There were dudes fighting in shoes, and you could straight up.
Those
punch,
are the wrestlers. Yeah, the
you
wrestlers
could straight up punch
Dudes
somebody in the dick.
They used to wear a gi.
Yeah.
He was wearing the gi.
That's
Hoist
the guy that was
Gracie.
no. There was another dude, a Kempo Canadian. It was not mixed martial arts. The mixing was that you had all these different disciplines, but everybody basically stuck to one discipline. And there was this Kempo dude that just punched people in the dick. The video's online. No, it was illegal. There's just one round where he's just like,
yes. It was the most barbaric. It really has been one of the most amazing things in my sports lifetime to see a major professional sports league spring out of the gutter and become what this has become now, which is a propaganda arm for, a felon crook who has lost the approval rating of everybody because he's dangerous.
Dan, when the president walked into that building, I mean, Tony can attest, it's like, it's almost obscene how much these people love him. The place erupts.
Yes and no, though, because I've been to, obviously, the last 3 Miami fights, and he's also been to the last 3 Miami fights, getting bigger applause every time it went back. I felt like the one from last year was bigger than the one from this year.
Oh, really?
I felt like the pop was way bigger last year. This year was a bit more muted. Anyways.
You're not sure you used how did you spell what you said?
How did I spell it? I don't know. I said it muted. I should have said muted.
It's a moot point.
Thank you. Good start. We're all friends here, right? We're forgiving.
The Gracies were my brother's favorite because they beat everybody, no matter their style and whatever. And so that's where my interest in the sport lied, and I really did and do love it. But it's been contaminated from every corner for me by the fact that Joe Rogan, who I really admire as a broadcaster because he really understands that sport better than almost any of the broadcasters anywhere doing any of the broadcasts. Like, he's really good at that. To see those 3 people, Rogan, Dana White, and Donald Trump, turn this into something that's now going to be on the White House lawn as a cartoon caricature form of idiocracy where no sports and politics can't mix unless it's these people doing this thing. It's obviously something that hurts to watch. It hurts to watch something that I love that's contaminated on every side by the fact that I feel lonely in my own Miami because I'm like, what the fuck are these people doing? Making this guy feel like he's a hero. What are my people doing? Making this guy feel like he's a victim, and this is the place where he can feel best about I'm being wronged, I'm persecuted, when all he's doing is lining the pockets of his family with riches after avoiding jail by getting this presidency and attacking every form of democracy there is. How do I separate their two? How do I separate those two things? Because it's killed my interest in this in a way that I don't want to be so.
He was on camera a lot. Like, he was front and center, obviously. And
we were what, maybe a 200 feet from him, 250 feet from where we were sitting.
I'll tell you something that was so surprising to me. So who was the fighter after he won?
Paulo Costa, who jumped the cage.
He jumped the cage and then went to go talk to the president. And the president was like, it's a beautiful man. He's too handsome to be a
fair,
fighter.
he's like an Adonis level fighter.
Good-looking guy.
Like
yeah.
his body is not a typical UFC body.
Glad they were being fair.
But I found it.
Let's be fair.
I found it jarring. I mean, think about it. Maybe I'm being naive. I found it jarring that someone is allowed to jump over the cage and just run up on the president of the United States.
It happened the last time too.
But isn't that wild? Like, forget, he's not just anyone even. This is a professional killer who is allowed to just run up on the president where it's like, it'll be okay. He's not like, what if this guy actually hates the president? I mean, he's a professional killer. I thought it was very jarring to me that he's just allowed to run right up on the president, touch him, talk to him. Everyone's like, it's cool.
It's happened a couple times, like when he's been cage side, where people jump over and kind of shake his hand, talk to him or whatever it is, or talk to him from Rogan interviewing them, where he sees him through the cage. Like, it's kind of normal behavior. But yeah, to your point, if somebody fakes it and says, "Yeah, no, I love him," but then all of a sudden hits him with an elbow, that'd be like WWE. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, you can kill him.
I cannot think of a time that I feel lonelier in my city than when this happens. I've gone to a couple of them, and this part is disorienting to me because I do know that in that space he is absolutely beloved. And what I'm watching there, though, is what my parents told me was what the Cuban government did with their sports teams. Like, you use them as an arm so that you have an army of soldiers to be feared. And these guys are the crazy ones. Like, you understand, part of my admiration for some of these people comes from most of the people fighting didn't have much of a choice. Like, these are hard lives. To fight the world for money is an insanity. Like, to fight war-torn mountain people who are crawling out of war-torn mountains I'll show you the ground game. None of this will be interesting. It won't be fun to watch. I'll ruin the sport from down here. But no one can beat me because I train with Wolverines.
The guy that Paulo Costa actually beat head kicked him into oblivion. Literally had a head kick where he hit him so hard across the eyebrow on the thing where he kind of stumbled back and then fell, and that's where they called it. He's from some war-torn part of Russia. So it's like you have all these different places. Obviously, Paulo Costa is Brazilian, and you have a lot of Brazilians, a lot of Russians. So it's like a good mix of people on the card. But Paulo Costa, decided to do that with his time, which was jump over the fence and talk to Donald Trump.
It was my second time going. I went last year as well. It was my second time going to one of these UFC events.
Last year was a great event.
Yeah, no, I thought Saturday was really good too. I mean, and I don't know anything. 3 of the 5 main card fights were really good, really entertaining. Huge, shocking finish to the championship main event. But damn, I went with my son. My son is 17. He loves the Arab fighters, all right? But loves UFC, MMA in general. He's way into it. I was wondering why he was so adamant about bringing me, because I don't know anything. And then I learned on the way over there it's because his friend was out of town. It's like, oh, okay, that's why. All right.
Take the old man. He drives me for free.
So he makes me go, we got to get there at 7 p.m. We got to get there for all the prelims. Dan, I'm sitting there for 5+ hours.
The first 3 by yourself, I would imagine, right? Like, there wasn't anybody there for the
no,
prelims.
it was a decent crowd. Decent crowd.
Lot of people like to say the gate and this and that, but like when the fights really started rolling, like there was a lot.
Oh yeah, when the main card started, it was completely packed. But Dan, let me tell you something. 5 hours, I'm out there. I'm at the age in my life now, I don't need to be anywhere for 5 hours. It's too long. I was so tired. By 9:30 p.m., I want to be in bed. Can you imagine being somewhere for 5 hours? It's too much time. It's way too long to be out.
Zaz, what did you think when Cub Swanson made his final swan song
into
the octagon? Who's 42 years old. I go to Lewis, I'm like, that's 3 years older than Zaz. Imagine Zaz walking out to fight Land Nateware.
He dominated that guy.
Dansby Swanson fights now?
Yeah, Cub Swanson.
Yeah,
he dominated that guy.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I don't know who you're saying. It's
but
Cub Swanson.
I'll tell you though,
Cub
Dan.
Swanson. Dansby.
I found myself, I felt bad a few times, okay? I felt bad because I found myself not liking it when a guy was getting beat up and there's all these people there watching him get beat up.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But you
I
like
know,
wrestling.
but I don't mind it. I don't mind when I'm watching on TV.
Sciences and measurements.
For some reason, watching it on TV, I don't have a problem. But being there, I guess, and being able to experience, there's all these people who are enjoying watching this person get beat up. It made me uncomfortable. I didn't like it.
Did it make you more uncomfortable when Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker and the cooked off, the unk off, the destruction of the fight?
Horrible.
When everybody was yelling, bullshit,
My son told me, Dan, that fight was rigged. Did you know that?
Rigged. They were supposed to both knock each other out.
My son said that fight's rigged.
What a terrible fight, Dan.
To get this straight, though, you think the way to appeal to today's young people is to say that you can't handle being anywhere for 5 hours.
It's too long.
Just a great sporting event, a great party of any kind, the most memorable nights of sports.
One of the
that
best
people
fights
have
in the
had.
last 2 decades, Dan.
But wherever it is that your best sports memories reside, those were 5-hour nights. They were not 3-hour nights. They were 5-hour nights. All of them are 5-hour nights.
That's not true. Panther game's 2.5 hours. Heat, 2.5 hours.
The before, the after, the all of it.
Baseball now 90 minutes inexplicably.
I understand what you're saying, but then you add to that, I need to be in bed by 9:30, and the main fights don't start till 9:30. Like you when I say nobody's at the prelims, nobody's ever at the prelims compared to what is later. There's just blood on the mat, and when the people arrive, there's a lot of blood on the mat.
There was.
And not a lot of people watched how that blood got spilled, and they don't clean it up all the time.
Well, they clean it up, but the problem is you can't get it out of the canvas because
It
it's so
stains,
soaked in.
So yes, it's very barbaric, and soon UFC license plates are coming to the state of Florida because all of this is very welcome and warm here for him near Mar-a-Lago, where they will soon one day hide more classified.
You want me to get you one? A UFC
the toilet
says UFC lives here,
and it'll be Mar-a-Lago will be just surrounded by the UFC guys.
The UFC plate looks great, by the way. Nice black with a nice little red on the side. Looks very nice.
They look almost as good as the fighters.
It'll replace the Vice City
Am I right,
black
Donnie?
license plate as that guy just tried to kill me.
It's a good-looking plate.
A lot of those
Say what you
coming
want.
on Cybertrucks.
I'm going to get Jeremy one, too, for making that comment.
Please do.
You have them. You have access to the.
I'll call a couple people.
Do you guys know how close we actually are? Because I was thinking about this. I saw some of the video for what the Trump library is going to be, and it's not a Trump library. It's a Trump hotel where he's talking about like a 747 being in the lobby. It's going to be a hotel that also may have a library, like by the bar.
There
There's
won't be
a
books.
place with a couple of books, but it's not. And it's right here between here and Freedom Tower, which is literally the first place my father was when he arrived in the United States from Cuba. It's literally the first place. It's a great joy to be able to see it from the windows here while we're doing what we're doing, until we won't be able to see it because there's going to be a giant hotel and casino next door. And Mike Ryan's been teasing me since the announcement that my father's going to end up being a casino greeter at the Freedom Tower. That my father's going to be at the front of he's just going to be in a Guayabera dancing in his 80s next door to Trump Casino while I'm surrounded by UFC and guns and truck testicles.
So did you watch the Josh Hokit fight? Because that was sick. Can we talk about that later?
That press conference he did was cringe.
He's an interesting guy. Let's just leave it at that. But I think he won over a lot of people with his performance on Saturday, Dan.
Back in my day, seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably notice seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are, if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, coffee, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer antioxidants, plant-based nutrients, and anti-inflammatory properties. But enough about this science. Bring back seeds because seeds are fun. Not to mention aesthetically and visually pleasing. Kids growing up today have sliced open a watermelon, have never sliced open a watermelon, and experienced the joy of seeing that juicy red flesh dotted with embedded black seeds. Nellie Doogie used to tell us if we swallowed a watermelon seed, a big melon would grow on our belly. It wasn't true. But as kids would make a competition out of seed spitting. You extracted the big seeds from the melon flesh. Tongue only, never fingers or a utensil, and you'd see who could project a seed the farthest. Every summer we did that. This was before video games, kids. Made our own games and toys. Flew a kite, kicked a can, spit a seed. Grapes were the real challenge because the seeds were so much smaller. We'd both pop a grape in our mouth, tongue moving, jaws in action, and whoever could spit out 3 seeds onto the table the fastest won. To this day, I carve real pumpkins and eschew the prefab foam and plastic fakes, mainly for the treasure trove of seeds inside. Hundreds and hundreds of them waiting to be scraped out, cleaned, and roasted in the oven to become delicious natural snacks. Respect, worship, and bring back the seeds. I need a t-shirt that says convenience is overrated. Insist to your local grocer that you'll take your watermelon seeded, please, and the grapes too. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
Journalism is dead. But journalism, as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay, it has changed. It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to adapt sometimes, okay? Because the game has changed. Your priorities have shifted. No one cares how someone goes and gets the news that they get, as long as the news is accurate, as long as it's coming from a credible place. If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one of you, okay? Stephen A. Smith jumped inside the circus tent. I don't blame him. Why'd he do it? Because he had to do it. Because the game has changed. You jumped inside the circus tent. You did. You did so with me. Think about that. With me and with Greg Cody every Tuesday, okay? And so you have ditched journalism a long, long time ago because why? Survival of the fittest, Dan. You have to change with the times. You have to roll with the changing environment, roll with the changing industry, and that's what you decided to do. That's what Stephen A. decided to do. And for Woj, for guys like him, the game has changed slightly, where he went out and he sought reports, and he wanted to be the reporter. And you know what? If now he has morphed into a mouthpiece for the Blazers, I'm okay with it. I am good with it. I don't care.
Survival of the fattest.
Everyone, exactly. Everyone is selling out to make a buck.
What a terrible timing.
It was great.
Like that joke.
Hey, just give it up. You all want to be journalists. You're not journalists anymore. None of you. Not a one of you. Sorry.
You didn't even hear the joke. You
I
said
did. Survival of the fattest. It was great.
It just could have been done after Stugotz stopped talking, Dan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoehorn that
But I'm
in.
okay. I'm okay
You're
with
splitting
it.
hairs.
Right.
Okay.
You adapt. You roll with things, man. That's it. You know, Dan, you started off, you know, if you're a driver, you drove a yellow cab and you were loyal to the yellow cab. You know what? But the game has changed to Uber, to Lyft, to private driving. And you know what? You have to ditch the yellow cab and you have to drive an Uber. Why? Because you'll make more money. Why? Because more people are taking Uber than the dirty yellow cabs. That's why. That's what you do. No one cares about journalism. You know what they care about? Laughing, being entertained. And you do a great job of that. And Stephen A. Smith does a great job of that. No one cares about journalism. People care about smiling. That's it.
You know, this morning I found myself while I was driving Claire to school. I told her, you ask a lot of questions. You should be a journalist. And now here in this conversation, I just, you know what? Don't be a journalist. Like,
exactly.
Do something else.
It's over.
Sad.
You're going to let Stugotz parent your daughter. You think that's a good idea?
You think journalism is a good occupation?
Oh, no. What happened to Yuri?
What happened to Yuri, Dan? He tried to play with his food and got knocked the F out.
That guy lost?
Yeah.
The one that was here?
The one that was here got knocked out.
How about his explanation after the fight of what happened?
Poor explanation. He basically said I was showing him mercy. No, buddy, you weren't showing him mercy. So for those uninitiated that didn't watch the fights, they were great. Carlos Olberg was from New Zealand fighting Yuri for the vacant title for the lightweight championship, right? So he's fighting. Yuri's chopping at his front leg. In one of those, his back leg buckles. So you see something happen where all of a sudden it's like he's on one leg. So Yuri's chopping at his front leg.
It was very clear that he couldn't use his leg anymore.
Not knowing that his back leg was the one that was hurt.
There was a torn ACL there, correct?
That was his ACL that was torn, right? Because in one of those shots that he took on the front leg, it buckled his back leg towards his ACL. So he's pushed his back against the cage, right? And he's like, I've got nowhere to go. He's chopping at my front leg. My back leg is totally done.
And he was taunting him throughout the round.
100%. Like basically like waiting for hands down and everything, just like, all right, I'm going to finish you here. Carlos Olberg leans back, throws a puncher's chance, and absolutely clocks Yuri, knocks him down with the torn ACL and all, runs up on him, starts beating his head off the canvas, and they called the fight. And it was over. He was 2 minutes away, Dan, from the corner calling the fight because he couldn't walk anymore.
It was a shocking finish.
So let me ask you guys this question seriously before I move on to other subject matter. Anywhere in there, as people are celebrating Trump, as Iran talks fall apart, and he's telling Dana White, "Hey, put Derek on the card," and
loves Derek Lewis, by the way,
and Dana White just makes a phone call and then makes Freedom 250 is going to be on the White House lawn. The whole thing's grotesque. I mean, it's the carnival, it's the circus, and it's come to mainstream, and it's fun and crazy and interesting. The fights are interesting. What about the other stuff? What do you guys do with the other stuff? Like there isn't another sport where somebody, the president of the United States says, hey, let those two teams play, and that's what I want to watch.
What I do with it is I try to ignore it. I didn't watch this card, but I've been at the card before when Donald Trump, once in New York and once in Miami, and I don't like it. I don't like Donald Trump, but I do what so many on the right say I had to do, which was, just keep my mouth shut and power through that stuff that they were incapable of when Colin Kaepernick was, say, taking a knee before. But whatever, it's part of the sport, but also it seems to be catching up to the UFC. It straight up does.
Does it?
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to you may want to gloss over the gate. The gate was down big. And
but is the gate down at like a bunch of fights lately?
The gate was down on this one because there wasn't a ton of big names.
Okay,
right?
They released that Donald Trump was coming a day before to try to drive people to this. And if you see what Dana White is doing publicly and in the press conferences with him trying to distance, he actually claimed that his speeches at the Republican National Convention are not political, that he's not a political person. He is very clearly getting a message internally from TKO, hey, we have staked out this corner plot. We are the sport for MAGA conservatives. And that's fine. You can do that. You can appeal to that. But what that sport does in ways that others don't is it makes people that disagree with those policies feel very unwelcome because these are straight up pep rallies for Donald Trump, have been. And it's a lot.
The gate at this one was under $10 million. They look. I'm going to go through the history.
He gets an entrance to Kid Rock's American Badass when he's attending the CFP National Championship game. He doesn't get that.
Oh, and at WWE, which is also owned by TKO, it's a completely different response that the president gets. Like when that originally happened, I think TKO thought that, whenever the president is shown or introduced or whatever, that it was going to be very similar, and they were sorely mistaken.
I remember I was at the WrestleMania in Las Vegas last year. I'm not going this year, but last year Dana White voiced one of the intro videos, and people recognizing his voice booed him.
Very
and anytime he
different
was
audience.
shown on the screen, he was booed.
Yep.
There's a difference between allowing the president to attend your event and making an entire show about an obvious show of support for the president. At that point, you can't say that you're not a political organization. And this time, at this point in time, Donald Trump's fragile ego definitely needed to be seen by a sporting company that is normalizing him, putting him out there, having this grand entrance next to Dana White to cheers, which if there is a group of people on this planet that'll cheer that man at this point in time, it's there. That is the administration using sport the same way that Cuba used the baseball team, to Dan's point. That is propagandizing, and they are a very convenient bedfellow, but it is going to catch up to the UFC.
Let me show you a little more of this history here, okay? And I will say this again as someone who loves the fights. I do. I always have. Everybody here makes fun of me. They make fun of me because I do like the science of these barbaric, toughest men in the world challenging each other, and what they risk is just it's really brave. Like, they're vulnerable in front of a lot of people, and you always risk an eternal embarrassment at the thing you care about most, because you cannot sleep on the guy with the torn ACL, because that cage is primitive and those people are assassins. They are obviously trained fighters. So I really respect the toughness of all of that. I also respect the story of this sport. Dana White signing contracts in back alleys, like the Fertitta brothers, like barely hanging on to make this a legitimate league because of how hard it is. And he needs Forrest Griffin to have a barbaric fight in a reality TV series, because the thing he cares about most, he's so close to running the fighting games. He cares about boxing, cares about combat sports. Carnival Barker knows how to promote, knows how to fight with Oscar De La Hoya in public, knows how to be everything he's been, which includes being a man who can hit his wife in public and still run his league, because the power is concentrated now at the top, and he's gotten to the very top of power. He had to climb over John McCain. They had to climb over an assortment of things that made them too barbaric, too primitive for America. And now look where they've arrived. The victory for Dana White is he couldn't get Skipper to sit next to him at a fight because Disney wouldn't sign off on this. And then Disney needs him, and he parlays all of that into money and power, and you get to the top of sports where you can hit your wife and there are no consequences, because you can tell TKO what to do, because you have value to the streaming services. He's won. This is the biggest mainstream victory that he could possibly have at the center of America. Like, he couldn't have imagined in fiction any scenario that haven't had his sport being this legitimized. But they deserve each other at the center of America as Iran war talks fall apart while he's doing this, and we seem to be following a delirious king into something close to nuclear warfare. Like, and like all of it, I don't know, how do we get from hey, keep Kaepernick, keep it to sports, to this? It's going to be on the White House lawn. Like, it is
fair. They haven't historically done well with hypocrisies when it comes to this. You cannot be super pro, I love what UFC is doing with the president, and be stick to sports guy. You can't. And the thing is, I know a lot of people try to be, and it's just stick to my type of politics.
But all I'm saying is, once you put this sport on the White House lawn, what you're saying is, this is America. When the polling shows, no, it's not. All of the polling shows, whatever you say about voting, all of the polling shows, no, this man being made into a figure that gets to be the mad king of not a democracy, who just gets to declare war on whoever he wants, while Florida gets the UFC license plates and blocks our view of the Freedom Tower with a library that's not a library.
we're probably going to get aggregated somehow. Some conservative talking head is going to take issue with this, and the allegation is going to be, look at the Le Batard Show talking about Trump again. And we are talking about Donald Trump because the guy basically has pyro at a UFC event during his entrance. They make it unavoidable. They have picked their side, and we'll see how that plays out as history will reflect on this administration. They're going to reflect back on how convenient an ally the UFC was throughout this. And I think if you see I know they have a whole new partnership, a broadcasting partnership that since that was signed, and I'm sure they're privy to some numbers behind the scenes, there has been some sort of messaging relayed to Dana White, ease up. But when the president calls you on this weekend where he's at an all-time low with approval numbers, Dana White's not saying, all right, well, let's cool it. He's bringing his good buddy in, at one point hand in hand, walking him into the UFC to a hero's welcome. That is not something the other leagues do when the president attends their sporting events. You are being used. Now, you may think that you are using Donald Trump too, but the internal numbers that you're getting, they're showing you this is not a winning proposition over time, and they're going to find that out real quick.
And you shouldn't be surprised that he views it as a reflection of America, because the only reflection of America he sees is internal. It's his. He views himself as a religious figure. That's why over the course of Easter weekend, he's posting AI images of himself as Jesus and criticizing the Pope for being weak on crime. Look at the screen right now. That is a real thing Donald Trump posted of himself across this holy time. It's maddening. It's asinine. It doesn't make any sense that these are things that we're comfortable with, and we're not. But that same conglomerate that's okay with saying, hey, stick to sports on one end and UFC being welcomed on the White House lawn on the other, that group of people, his pulpit, seem to be okay with just about anything. We'll see how far he can continue to push it.
A talking point that I often see from those that disagree with the views that I have is, well, you live in an echo chamber. Number one, I live in Miami, Florida. No, I don't. All right. I went to Christian school. I have plenty of lifelong friends. This is something that I navigate daily. I do not. I am a UFC fan. I cannot avoid this stuff. I literally had to, and I tried to see what happened in the fight, and it was all Donald Trump stuff. It is a unique point in time. He needed the UFC here. Donald Trump did not attend the Super Bowl. You know why? Donald Trump was told he'd get booed at the Super Bowl. Donald Trump didn't go to John Cena's final match. Why? Because wrestling fans are a little bit more progressive, and he would have been met with boos. He wants to live in this echo chamber. He wants to go into rooms and align himself with organizations that guarantee he's going to get the American Badass intro, and everybody's going to be happy to see him. That is distorted reality. That is not real. That's actually what an echo chamber looks like.
But the fights were good.
But Josh Hokit versus Curtis Blades was the best fight we've seen in decades, Dan. Yeah, you could talk about the president, but did you talk about Josh Hokit bringing three characters, being the cringiest guy we've ever seen, and then putting out that performance against Curtis Blades, a heavyweight contender? Like, nobody saw that coming.
Wait, which one's the hot guy?
It was the most punches ever landed in a heavyweight fight in UFC history. And, like, it happened from the moment the opening bell rang.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Josh Hokit.
No, the other guy.
Curtis Blades.
He got split right away. Like, it was on immediately.
Let's talk about the prior to this. So, like, above you can see, if you're watching on TV, Dan's face is covering a middle finger from the Josh Hokit walking over to Curtis Blades before the fight even starts.
One of probably 24 middle fingers that were flashed throughout the fight.
Just him just walking up to him and just being like, here, bam, right here, just a big one for you. But prior to that, throughout the entire media day, throughout the weigh-ins, throughout everything, Josh Hokit has been taking out these characters that he's been trying to play. So he's got a Randy Macho Man Savage character that he's got. He's also got like a Mexican Vato character that he plays. So he brought all these characters along with him, and he's kind of like a new guy in the UFC, 8-0 in his professional career, but like really the first time he's gotten any sort of buzz. He was supposed to be lower on the card because there was a couple other fights on the card that got taken off because of injuries and what happened.
Can you imagine that fight not being on the main card? Oh my God.
That during the prelims would have been sick, but it happened basically as one of the best fights of the main card. And Dan, I want to play for you some. This is going to be cringe again. Not spoiler alert, but cringe alert.
How long is this?
There's two different characters.
This is so bad. I'm going to step out.
Okay,
I get second-hand
hold on. All right, this is the reason I'm asking this question. We can't all leave. Are we
I'll
all going
stay.
to leave? No,
I'll stay.
No, but see, I don't.
I'll stand in the
look,
breach as
you've
usual.
You'll stand in the breach, but you've made an executive decision here. I'm uncomfortable with because I mentioned this cringe video earlier, and I only mentioned it because I didn't want to play it because it made me cringe, and I did not want to foist upon the audience any more cringe than what they've just felt the last 15 minutes, which we punctuated with Jeremy's whimpering. So,
yes, correct.
So,
relax.
We decided as an executive team doing this show together to pivot back into the fight.
Yeah.
But in my head, I had vetoed this video in my mind when I saw it happen because I don't like videos that make me cringe. And when I asked how long is it, it's because I don't want to put the audience in a more of a state of sustained cringe.
Yeah, so this is going to be cringe, and that's why I had to give you the cringe alert on the front end.
I'm not doing this.
Okay, I will lead here.
I want to
for,
watch it.
for
I
a
want to watch
minute or
it.
two. So what happened? What happened is this.
Responsible for this.
You're not. I will be fully responsible. So,
I get second in embarrassment.
I know you get
Am I going to be
agita.
okay?
I don't think so. You might have to walk out too. I'm not 100% sure. What I do know is that Josh Hokit, who was a Division I football player at Fresno State, played running back, also wrestled Division I, very good athlete, came in basically unheralded to the UFC and was like, all right, what do I need to do? I need to pull up a gimmick, right? All the great fighters before me have had gimmicks, and I'm going to have a couple of gimmicks in my bag to try and sell this fight. Right, so we're gonna play his Randy Macho Man Savage gimmick, and then he's gonna play like another Mexican Vato character that's gonna be cringy, but it's gonna lead to the complete heel turn or babyface turn for Josh Hokit into now one of the top guys at UFC. So here's his Randy Macho Man Savage gimmick.
Yeah. I'm in Miami, Florida. Oh, yeah. 20,000 people.
20 million.
20 million watching around the world to see the Incredible Hulk. I will show everybody that I'm the best, from the east to the west, to the old dying man, to the baby on the breast. Mama, you know who the best is, Mama? The Incredible Hulk's the best, Mama.
All right, so that was his Randy Macho Man Savage gimmick, which had been on full display basically all week throughout media day, throughout weight cutting. Yuri Prohaska, who we had here in studio, had some offense, took offense to what he was talking about. He's like, get up in the Randy Macho Man Savage thing. And Yuri was like, are you talking to me? So he came over and like had to be separated. He was talking to Carlos Olberg. He was talking to Curtis Blades. He was talking to anybody who had ears. He was going to listen to him. So this is the secondary character that he has in his gimmick, which is a Mexican Vato, which is basically him just pulling out a beanie and then putting it over his eyes.
Hey, what's up, dog? Hey, that shit got kind of weird, dog. I'm sorry, dog. But the fucking down vatos back, homie. Hell yeah, dog. Oh, did someone ask, dog, how I've been doing, dog? I just been picking up girls, dog, and beating up squirrels, dog. How do you get a squirrel down from a tree, homie? You drop your pants and show them your nuts, homie. Dang, dog, that was a good one, homie.
So, clinically insane behavior from Josh Hokit, who had all this gimmick. Dana White came out and said, like, I didn't really love the couple of gimmicks that he had, which was obvious because nobody really liked them. As you can look around, we all thought it was cringe, right, guys? So, with that, he comes out to the fight. He gets into the octagon. He's got Curtis Blades on the other side. And before Bruce Buffer can even introduce him, he comes over and just flicks off Curtis Blades to his face. And everybody in the crowd's like, oh my God, what is he doing? Curtis Blades, big cinder block hands, has the ability to knock anybody out with one punch. And I'm like, oh, this dude is not only insane, he's about to get his ass completely kicked by Curtis Blades, who is stoic and completely silent and still watching this dude who's 6 foot, 230 pounds in the heavyweight division, standing in front of him, flicking him off. And he's like, I'm going to kill this guy. The fight starts immediately. Zaz?
Is the video over?
Yeah, video's over, so we could talk about the fight now.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
You didn't like it?
No, I had to bail, man.
Agita?
It makes me uncomfortable. It's a horrendous Macho Man impression. Horrendous.
The video's over. So, Zaz, I was at the point of the story where he comes over before Bruce Buffer introduces him, flicks off the guy, and we're like, oh my God, Curtis Blades is going to kill him.
Yeah.
Like, nobody does this. Like, this is a WWE gimmick for Josh Hokit. And then all of a sudden he comes out and lands about 6 punches in a row.
He splits him immediately.
And we were like, oh my God, he's going to knock out Curtis Blades.
Yeah.
He's going to knock him out in the first 35 seconds of the fight.
But he just ate both of them. They just ate punches all match long. Like they were constantly landing heavy blows. Neither of them went to the mat.
No
knockdowns.
Neither guy got knocked down. You're talking about 354 significant strikes between the two, 170 and some change apiece.
I mean, that's got to be so dangerous, landing so many blows to the head in, what are we talking, a 15-minute
in
span?
a 15-minute window.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about Josh Hokit, he's got an incredible motor. Again, played D1.
Well, they were both exhausted
They were dead
by the end of round 1.
Yes, they were both dead. But when you look at the tank for Josh Hokit, it was like, oh, dude's not sitting down at the corner. Like, he's standing up. He's got still a little bit more in his gimmick and in his bag.
At the end of round 1, he stood everyone's cheering like crazy. At the end of round 1, he stood in the middle of the ring, raised his arms. I think he thought the fight was over.
Dude,
there's 2 more rounds.
It was one of the best first rounds that I had ever seen, because Curtis Blades was on the brink twice in that first round of being completely knocked out.
Yeah.
There was one time where he looked at him and I was like, oh my God, he's going down. And it just goes to the testament of being a multi-discipline, multi-sport athlete when you got Hokit, who was a football player, a wrestler, played on the P squad for the 49ers and for the Cardinals for a little bit, immediately started MMA once he didn't make the team, and now he's getting called up to be on the White House lawn fighting Derek Lewis, and he's a minus 400 favorite against the Black Beast. It's like, where did this guy come from?
That's what Derek Lewis's nickname is, the Black Beast?
The Black Beast,
Is that the hot one?
Okay.
So with all that, Josh Hokit has turned from complete heel throughout the entire fight camp, the entire fight week, to now babyface turns as
now I
people
want
loved
to watch him with that next fight. I mean, Derek Lewis is obviously fun, but I want to watch him now. I know who he is.
And he's going to be on the White House lawn. He had talked about it with Ariel Helwani a couple of months ago, I think in November or September. He was like, hey, I want to be on the White House card.
It's funny how that sport works, man, because it really – now, look, he had to win the fight, and he did. But it'd be different if he lost, I suppose. But you have to carve out, like, this lane, like this niche, where people like me, who doesn't know a whole lot about MMA, all of a sudden, I know who this guy Hokit is. And I'm not going to forget who he is.
No.
Because he was behaving like a crazy person.
And he won't let you forget him, right? Because, like, if you think, all right, if these characters worked, now imagine what I'm going to do the next time.
Now, I don't want to see the character. I don't think he needs to do that anymore. I think at this point, the fighting and the antics in the ring where he's doing the middle fingers, he's taunting the whole time, like, I think that's enough. I don't think he needs to do the pre-fight press conference where he's acting like an idiot. Like, that was tough to watch.
I agree. And that was all part of it. Like, oh, this guy is, like, crazy, but is also going to get his ass kicked. And then he didn't, and then delivered an ass kicking. So it's like,
and that's a big boy who's going.
That is a big. Curtis Blades is a big boy, measured in at 265.
Yeah.
On fight night, and Josh Hokit was 230. And dude, he looks so fast. He looks so powerful. It was crazy to see.
It was a fun night. I mean, place was absolutely packed. Which I got to tell you, I don't know how everybody affords these tickets. It has to be crippling credit card debt. It really
has
does.
to be.
Because the tickets are crazy expensive. All right, and the place was slammed. I don't understand. You see couples there, like, you're going on a date, you're spending $2,000 for a date. Like,
couple $1,000 date night.
I mean, really?
That's before we get the drinks and the food.
Right. I don't understand how people afford it. I really
Crypto.
don't. I mean, I could say the same thing about WWE, which has really been the case since TKO took over there too. Like, I look around on the floor when I'm at these shows. How are you here? How are you here? Like, you're here with your entire family for WWE. How are you here? How are you affording this?
How did you feel? Obviously, you've been to a couple of them now. You were at, a very good. When we looked at the headliners and we were like, oh, this is going to be like an okay card, which
That
is
doesn't
why.
mean anything to me. My son told me it was going to be a great night.
Right. So, like, the ball knowers for real knew that there was real good fights scattered in on the card. It just didn't have the casual fan big names like the Sean O'Malley's, the Chito Veras.
Last time was Patty Pimblett, and of course I know who he is. This was great. I thought there were a lot of really cool moments. The Cub Swanson win was cool.
Dansby?
Buddy gets kicked in the head. He loses. The guy goes and talks to Trump. You had that heavyweight fight we're talking about.
Hot one?
And then the main event, which was I don't think you could have a match have a more shocking finish than we saw Yuri lose
It's an
in
all-timer.
the main event. Yeah, like it was. My son was yelling. He was so upset. He was so upset when Yuri lost. It was fun. I had a good time. It's just, man, it's long.
It's
long. I was there since 7 p.m. and it ends at 12:15. It was long.
Dan, what'd you think?
Too much UFC today.
I mean, not enough UFC, if you want me to be honest. We didn't even talk about the bums Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker.
Those are the hot ones.
Give me some robots chasing some animals in Poland. Okay, if you're just listening.
No,
He's supposed to catch him?
No.
Hold on. All of you shut up so I can keep the audience abreast of what's happening. That is a robot. It is running through the streets of Poland. You can hear it. And a bunch of boar just ran off because
Robot needs to work on its cardio.
They don't know. No, that thing will run forever. But those boar don't know that that's not a human being. They think that's a human being. It's not a human being. It's just a blue-lighted robot.
A cement in his shoes.
Has a backpack on.
He's not running. That's
What's he got a book bag on for?
Zach Eady's running through the Poland.
Talk about the boar. Boar would be like, what the hell is that thing?
Speaking of boar, Memphis and Utah played a basketball game over the weekend, and it was just 10-day contracts, and it was absurdity. I want to get back to this because I do love the basketball playoffs. We're headed for a fun 2 months of stories. I hope the three-pointer.
No, it'll be good.
But I hope that there are going to be a lot of bad games too, though, because there are going to be a lot of blowouts in the playoffs as well. But there are a lot of fun stories. But we really are coming off of a season where the woke league, okay, has gone to its knees since the pandemic. We were just talking about the UFC, okay? The social justice league has fallen to its knees with racial stereotype tropes as a lead narrative. These guys don't care. Like the way the league reinvented itself in 1981 and got off of tape delay is that Magic and Bird got the view of the league that, those guys are, they're druggies. They're druggies. That's the druggie league. The way they fixed all of that, it polished it up is, it's Magic and Bird. It's white against black. Let's make TV commercials. It's a lot of fun.
They polish it up with a race war.
That's right. Now you head into the playoffs with, I think I can say this, right? You guys make fun of me sometimes about the idea of when my father made me crazy because he said throughout his life, I've never seen something so ridiculous in my life. He would say it all the time, and everything couldn't be the most ridiculous thing that hadn't been seen before. But I've never seen a sports season where America thinks, because the media is talking about it so much, the guys don't care. Like, you have to beg them to care. Ishbia's got to offer $1 million. Oh, look, the All-Star Game's fixed. They care. And then you get $2.5 billion in missed games, not because of any other reason. It's not that they don't care. They're fighting over money just like the guys in the UFC. It's not that they don't care. It's that the ligaments are being torn and stretched on 7-foot people that aren't meant to move this way because they've sped up the game, and all of it is like, it's just crazy. And so I understand where Michael says, MJ says in taped interview that they play all year, and he's the symbol for he plays all the games, looks at these guys today and it's like, what's this? What the hell is this? They need load management?
Show this box score from a professional basketball game that happened a couple of days ago in which I think 3 guys had triple doubles. 2 of which teammates from the Jazz, first ever teammates that get triple doubles coming off of the bench. They played the Memphis Grizzlies. This is what the Memphis Grizzlies threw out there. Number one, I mean, you'd be hard pressed. Even like hardcore NBA fans are looking at this roster being like, who is that exactly? Look at the laundry list of DNPs on this Memphis Grizzlies team. And also, can you look up the origins of laundry list?
Dan, one of the guys on the Grizzlies who had a triple-double was a -46.
There have never been 3 triple-doubles. There have never been 3 triple-doubles in a game before. But I want to get back to what I was saying in that what would even be second place in the history of conversation where you're watching an entire season in a professional sports league, the conversation from media and fans being not just about whether the players care because they're missing so many games, the natural distortion of what's happened with load management, but where the accusation can be fairly made, Those teams don't care about winning. They're actively trying to lose. When has it ever been like this? In any sport across any time where the conversation for a season before headed into the playoffs is, I don't believe anyone in this league cares about winning, when that's not true.
Too many teams do it. In the NFL, you do have like suck for luck campaigns. Jeremy and I were just talking about that, where it's clear because of the worst record in the league gets the number one pick. But in a league that has a lottery that's supposed to be like, the lottery is in place to kind of avoid tanking, and yet it's actually expanded the base of teams that think they have a shot at the number one overall pick. It's a key inflection point in the history of the sport. I don't think the allegation could have been made to baseball players that they didn't care at the time, but a lot of the things that plague baseball in terms of, the science of the game, that all of a sudden you have one thing squeak out the dam, and then you realize, there's a lot of issues with this league. It does remind me a lot of where baseball found itself a couple of seasons ago.
We were in a space where, and the Rays were ahead of it, Joe Madden was ahead of it, where it was like, shifts. We're going to completely change the way you play defense so that we can beat players on offense who are great at hitting the ball all over the place. All right, so the solution became try to hit home runs, and it became 3 true outcomes. The same way that basketball and athleticism defensively was able to slow down so much that positionless basketball became a thing, and now it's 5 out. Just keep shooting threes because you'll win with the math. We also saw the same affliction, Tommy John surgery. I made this comparison last year when Tyrese Halliburton tore his Achilles. This is essentially the new Tommy John, because in basketball, you have these guys who were raised from a young age only playing basketball, doing the same workouts year after year after year after year, chasing max velocity in their sprint speed, moving all over the court in a way that we never saw guys do before when you look at the miles run throughout a season. So what do? They load manage. We call that not caring when they don't play. But if a starting pitcher, where we were, at least in baseball, trying to figure out how to prevent Tommy John, we start limiting their innings, was the accusation that a starting pitcher doesn't care? Or was it that an organization was trying to figure out how to maximize their talent? Nobody doubted those starting pitchers. What they said is, hey man, you're putting the wear and tear on your arm that has never been seen before because you're chasing velocity. These things are akin to one another, and what we need to see is, in terms of gameplay and in terms of front office execution, that comes from the top of the league on down. How does the NBA counter in a way that baseball has? Because now a lot of those complaints about load management and things like that don't really exist the same way. We just get excited when we see a player like Sandy Alcantara throw a ton of innings.
When people look at the amendments, you often hear the argument, the founding fathers couldn't have envisioned this science being out there. When they invented basketball and baseball, they didn't understand analytics. Right. They never accounted for math hacking a game. So we're at that point now for both these leagues, and baseball did something about it, where it's very clear basketball has to do something about it. There probably is a racial component to why those players in that sport get hit with it so much. As a sports fan, I have a really difficult time wrapping my head around a star not playing because he's trying to avoid getting hurt. I can understand if he gets hurt and doesn't play, but just choosing to sit out because the team thinks maybe if he plays, he might get hurt, so let's just avoid that. That I think that's a fundamental issue with the league, that needs to stop.
You've got sort of the wrong math hacking the game, though, because I know what you guys are talking about. You're talking about the on-court product, but the math that's hacked the game is the amount of commerce that has come to it. The reason the draft is so popular with these teams is, I can get cheap fixed labor right away. I can know whether a guy is good or not, and I can buy my fan base in a salary cap sport something that might be a bargain. Right away, value. These teams have gotten so competitive in every place that the only way to win in the margins is, can I get Cooper Flagg because I get lucky in the draft? I got to get that 2% better chance because I can't get it in all these torn ligaments and everything else. I have to get it over there. The thing that's hacked the game is if you're always exploiting market inefficiencies, and everyone knows how to exploit the same market inefficiencies, the one you have to exploit is there are 10 teams trying to get the next Cooper Flagg because you need one of those. You need to get the fixed costs of one of those. Oklahoma City has all those picks and gets to trap those guys. They don't want to be in that city. They get to trap those people for years because they've got everyone. We've fallen in love with the draft pick. And the thing that's happened here that's hacked the game is you guys make fun of me on when I say the hedge funds have taken everything over and squeezed the soul out of everything. If I come in here and I find everywhere in baseball and basketball where I can make money, I'm going to squeeze the soul out of it. This is what's going to happen. Like, you're going to get this absurdity where you've got that Memphis-Utah box score, and those teams are not professional. Those teams are professional teams in name only. They're wearing uniforms, running around to lose just so that they keep televising games. Like, somebody's got to show up to play the other guys and lose by 30.
The one thing I will say, though, is that in baseball, you would see a lot more of these teams that are winning, proportionally, 30 games a year in Major League Baseball, if there wasn't such a gap in development from drafting a guy to getting to the major leagues. Connor Griffin is the rarity. Finding a 19-year-old kid who could be at the major league level, there's years before that player gets there. And you still need to get lucky. There are so many first-round picks that don't even get close, where in basketball, what you see is these teams at the bottom going toward tanking. But you know what? Even if they were trying to compete with the rosters that they had, they would still be the worst team. So yeah, you might see less of a disparity, maybe fewer 60-win teams than you see presently, and maybe fewer teams with wins in the teens. But those franchises would still be at the bottom, and you'd still have these superstars in the playoffs,
But
just like we now.
This is the first season there's ever been 8 55-plus loss teams. Look, the disparity is jarring. It's not – Zaz, there's not – you're sitting here talking about I can't do 5-hour events and I've got to be in bed by 9:30, okay? You're the NBA's old guard demo. This sport, now that your team is not playing in it, it can't be all of this. You can't cheapen it this much, this many ways, and have an entire season where we're having a conversation before the playoffs that I've never had before a playoff ever in my history thinking about sports.
I don't know how they're going to fix it. I know there have been some, proposals that apparently have been thrown out there we've seen online. They're thinking about this. GMs are intrigued by this and that. I mean, Adam Silver swears that something's going to change drastically over the summertime. I don't know, man. I'll believe it when I see it. You believe that something drastic is going to be implemented to prevent the tanking? I don't know about that, Dan.
I don't know what the fix is. I just can't believe I've spent an entire season listening to people talk about what is the fix. I love the NBA playoffs. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm watching that Magic Celtics game yesterday because I want to get into all of the stories that are coming our way. But I just was thinking on the way in, I'm trying to think of what second place is in the history. There have been work stoppages and everything else, but where the conversation from the media, from the arm that sells the league, has been this for an entire season.